Hey, it's Tom from FotoExchange, and I'm just going to walk you through creating a new event, including our new features. Okay, let's get started. So once you log into your account as a photographer, you'll be able to see create a new event. So we're going to click here, give it a name, usually the name of the couple or the type of event it is. So I'll just say test album. Okay, you can put in the event date and the date that the event is going to expire as a gallery for people to view if you want to set a date. What product you want to make available to your client, i.e. the bride and groom, and you can choose the icon representative of that particular product. So if it's a photo product, you can, for instance, choose this icon. So I'm just going to say the main album is going to have about 80 images, and we'll set a minimum and a maximum later. And I'm just going to add one more product, and I'm just going to say that all of my clients get at least 2 8x10s. Okay, so I'm going to hit create and upload now. If you have any problems when you get to this part of the process, this is where most people run into problems. It's because your Java isn't updated or installed. We have a troubleshooting video that will walk you through how to fix that, and you can look for that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some pictures, and I already have an event uploaded now, so I'm just going to, but I'll just show you this. So let's just select a bunch, and you can hit the space bar to check them all, or you can just check them manually. Just so you know, if you click the checkbox at the top here, it's going to include everything that's inside of here. So all of the contents of all the subfolders. So just be aware of that you can actually include subfolders once you've created your gallery, and your client will be able to look at the images in each of the subfolders. For example, getting ready, at the ceremony, etc. So you can just hit upload here and they'll upload really quickly, but I'm just going to go to a job I already preloaded. Okay. Alright, so here's a job I just uploaded before, and when we click on the edit button, it's going to allow us to change or set the password for the client gallery and the password for the guest gallery, which are two different views of the same gallery. You can also choose whether or not your client is going to be allowed to share the images on Facebook. And when they do, they are going to be linking back to the gallery for the guest to view and purchase products. So it's there for your benefit. And this is where you would choose which image do you want as your main image representing this gallery. Allowing the clients to download, if you allow them to, how high the quality, you can just choose here. And over here, these are the products that I've chosen, and this is where you can set the minimum and maximum. So I can say that they have to choose at least one 5x7, and at least one 8x10, and at least 70 images for their album. We recommend closer to 85. Okay, but the maximum they can choose is 100. So once they reach the maximum number, it'll prevent them from adding more images. And if they don't reach the minimum number, they won't be allowed to select I'm done with this. And so once they reach the minimum and they select I'm done selecting, you'll get a notification. Alright, so I'm just going to hit update event. And it just changed the main image right here. Right over here, these are two action buttons. One of them is to upload more images, and the other one is to download or send to print. Just briefly, if we click on that, you can choose the quality of the image that's being downloaded and also what category. So if, for instance, there were favorites or recommended images or album pages, and we'll get into that in a second. Okay.
If you don't want to download the images directly to your computer but want to send them to a lab for printing, you can select the FTP option, select the quality of the images and which images, and just enter the FTP username and password and address and you can save it for future reference, and then click start, and that will transfer the files directly to the FTP of wherever you want the file sent. And this could be an end user or it could be a printing location. Same idea applies to create order, but more specifically applies to the couple of companies that we're about to add to our mix that are affiliated labs. And once again, be able to choose the products and the services that are going to be applied to those images, and it'll automatically create an order at those labs for your images without having to do an extra step. And you can log into your account there to modify or tweak that order, but it'll automatically shoot the files over.
So I'm just going to go back. Okay, and click on the actual gallery itself. And this is what you see, and very similar to the view that the client and the guest will see. If you click on any of the images, it'll open up in a light box, and you can just use the left or right arrows to quickly move through them. As you move through, you can tag images that you recommend to the bride or groom for their album, and as you recommend them, they'll add to the list on the left-hand side. And I'm just going to close this for a second so we can see that. So on the left-hand side, it says recommended 3, and those are the 3 images that I selected. And you can see stars on the ones that were selected. So there's the star, there's the star, there's the star. And you can just manually do this way, and as you can see on the left-hand side, that's updating. We recommend that if you have a few thousand images, perhaps you can choose a couple hundred images that you recommend for the album, and let the bride and groom know that they can click on this, and it'll make their selection a lot faster. So if they click on that, they're going to see all the images that you recommended for their album, and then they can just add to that as they wish. Okay, moving right along. Favorites is anything that generally we recommend that the bride and groom select this once they see their view, and that way you can go through and recommend enlargements or anything else for those favorite images. And by the way, when you're selecting things, anything that's lit in blue is viewed on the screen right now, so we're allowing multiple toggles, so make sure you turn off one if you just want to view the other. So these are the 3 favorites. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to my pictures. And if we want to delete images that we've uploaded, we can click on the delete icon. They're not going to delete by default because we don't want accidental deletion. But if you're sure about it, just go over to delete images, and they're going to show up here, and just hit delete images and they'll be gone. And nobody will be able to view them. So I'm just going to go back here. Alright, let's get to the fun part. So we're going to share this with our client after the event. We can also share the URL to this gallery prior to the event by creating event cards, which we can give out to guests. And we'll get into that a little bit later on when we talk about guests. So I'm going to click on Notify Client, and it's warning me that there is no password selected for the guest and the client galleries. So I'm going to go back and change this. I'm going to hit Cancel. I'm going to go back to Events. And on Edit, I'm just going to go ahead and set the client password to client and the guest to guest. Obviously, you can make it more challenging. And I'll just update this. And there goes my image changing as I updated that. So let me just click through here and click on Notify Client. And notice I didn't get that prompt anymore. This is where you can enter in the email address of your client. And just so you know, you can add multiple email addresses. So you can just throw a comma and then throw the next email address, etc. You get the idea. You can change the subject line, and we can even customize what shows up here for you based on your preferences as you move along. So right over here, this is the link that they're going to get, and we're just going to copy that and try demoing what that looks like, and that's going to be in the next video. Okay? And you can just hit send email, and that will activate this job for them to view. Right now, it's not viewable. So watch the next video on the client view.